Gauteng MEC for Community Safety in Nkosi Malobane is on a drive to rid schools of crime. She's speaking now at the Rivilia High School. Let's cut live.
So, but those that at least are still children, we need to make sure. Those that are not ancestors, let's make sure that the parents need to be there in parenting their children. We need to be united in order to cement a good building. Without a building without a cement is not a good building. It will crack and it will crumble. It will be like TB Joshua's building. Sorry, Bishop, but so if there is no cement, it will really go down. And unity is that cement we need. We need to start here at school as leaders of schools, as principals. We interact with each other, we share notes, but we make sure that our parents come in. The Department of Education used to run programs, and I think they will be reintroducing those programs of teaching parents how to be parents. We need it in this community. And I'll tell you why we need it. If in a community a 12-year-old gives birth to twins, 12-year-old give birth to twins, and the father is a drug dealer, and we raise an issue, Ma'am Jessie, community leaders speak on behalf of that drug dealer. That was said. Now he's, that he's actually selling drugs, but he's not a rapist. But a man that sleeps with a 12-year-old, what do you call him? Guys, I'm sure quite a number of us here have 12-year-olds in our homes. Those are just tiny little things. And worse, when you saw the child, when I saw the child, actually I was very hurt because you could see, this is in Zulu, sitaboma finyela. The child is still wet behind the ears. You could see she didn't even know what was happening to her. The mother had to take over parenting those two children. And leaders in this community, and if you push me, I will name them. We're actually speaking on behalf of a drug dealer, that we can't label him a rapist. Then you know that there's serious problems in this community. Those children are not yet 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. Are they 1 year, station commander? Are they 1 year now? Yeah. So the kid, or in August, so the child is now 13 years. You are 13 and you've got a 1-year-old. And not just one-year-old, two. And we expect that child must be a normal parent at 13. Number two, whilst we were walking the streets, and I think we were in Westbury, and at some point we were here in Rivali. At 8 o'clock in the morning, fathers are drinking izingutu. You know what is ingutu? Menyer, do you know what ingutu is? You don't? Okay. Is it 750? Yeah. Not shake, a beer. A quart, yeah. Yeah. Right? Black label. You know, when you are now drinking black label, it means you are about to drink a shake. And when I say black label, I'm not talking about the man that works forever. I'm talking about black label beer. You're about to drink, or you might be secretly drinking shake, shake. In the morning, I found people in the corners, and they're proud, and children were watching. In the corners where I found boys, I found a lot of plastic bags of something called crystal. Yeah. I was worried. One was, are our police effective? But is our systems effective? Because really there's something seriously wrong here. You can't have men in the morning drinking black label beer, as well as young boys sniffing or smoking drugs. The kids that I interacted with, those that have left school, are proud that they've left school at grade 10. You don't need to be a professional researcher. You can come with me. I'll take you to these communities that I've walked the streets of those communities. There was a time when I walked for about 6 hours. So the reason why we are here, and there is no speech to read, is for me to share my experience of this community. I'm not just angry, but I'm hurt that we as leaders, I think we are very selfish. We have handed over our people to the dogs. We have handed over our people to wrong people. And I think it is time that we reclaim that. And how you as principals are supposed to do that. You've got my support. You will get the Department of Social Development support. You will get the Department of Education support. But you as principals must act as principals in your schools. I know some of you, their kids are not in these schools. They only come back when they failed too much. You know, you realize, hey, I'm spending 100,000 on this dom-dom, then come back. They only come back in our schools only just when they failed. But majority of teachers and principals, their kids are not here. But when you realize that, I know this one is not going anywhere, then you bring him back to come and add to trouble. So I think it is important to say to you guys, as principal, as deputy principals, if you are here, we will support you. I've mentioned 3 departments, but I think it is time that we, as leaders of these schools, as CEOs of these schools, reclaim our space. That space belongs to you. You are a leader of that school. No parent, no drug dealer will come and intimidate you. I want to make that commitment. Here is the station commander, here is the cluster commander. Their job is to make sure that they protect you from being intimidated by parents and drug dealers. Now it's up to you to do the right thing. Put in systems that will help you run a good school. Let's make sure that a child stays as long as possible at school, from grade 1 up to matric. And shape them to make sure that when after matric, they then go to tertiary. Then we'll have a better future. But I'm also want to engage you to say, let's reintroduce some of the programs that we used to have in these communities. This community, and everyone else, used to operate advice centers. There was one in North Khaseg, Jesse, and yeah, we had one here. You know why advice centers? Majority of the parents that I've interacted with, when their children are in drugs, they don't know where to go. By the time we come in here as a department, it is too late. So advice centers, maybe even here at school, give us a little office, run those advice centers to make sure that we contribute in developing a better community. When I was with MEC Nandimaya Tula here, she agreed with me that we need such in this community. We need an effective drug action committee in this community. We need a united force of parents that want to make sure that their kids are actually educated. And it means we need a body of SGB that is very strong, that won't just focus in one school, but in all the schools in the 4 areas that we have called today. But I also need a united leadership of this community. Guys, there's no money in government to give to people for being leaders. If you think that by being a leader you'll have access to some money, some packet of money, forget it. There's no money. I don't get money, I only get paid on the 15th.